future. We're talking real money.
Yes, it is once again real money talking time. Hello, everyone. I am Don McDonald. Over there is Thomas Cock. We are the hosts of this little program called Talking Real Money, where we try to help you muddle your way through all the confusing aspects of dealing with your dough. So, if you want to call us, it's really easy. It's just easy. We will answer your questions at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Just dial that number right up. It kind of brings you over here, and then we'll get you on the line, and then we'll try to help you avoid things like the things we're going to be talking about at the top of today's program, and here and there throughout the rest of the hour. The other day, Tom decided to put together a list, and it was really a good idea, a list of all of the stuff we despise in the lovely land of investments. These are the despicable. We
should call that the despicable list. You wanted to call it the black list. I think the despicable.
You can't see. That's why we didn't call it the despicable list, because he has problems with 3 or 4 syllable words. Two syllables, he's good, so that's why we're just going to call it, we're going to make it real easy for him. We're going to call it the bad list. This is the bad list.
Why do you think it went from Thomas to Tom? Come on, that's no brainer.
To T, to just stay. So anyway, we would like to share with you. It's going to make some people mad, but we just don't care. The list of products that we got together and we put together, trying to get to cover all the bases, all the things, and I think we missed one. Yeah, I think we did.
Oh, there's more. I'm not saying this is a total list. This is what I came up with.
Here's the list. Are you ready? Right at the top.
We need music behind it or something.
Right at the very top of the list.
Yeah.
Crypto. That's the one that's going to make a lot of people mad. Crypto. We would never invest nor suggest you invest in crypto. Now, one that is probably going to fall by the wayside now for another decade or so. It did this before.
It's ugly.
It was
when money's cheap, it'll be big again. What easy?
But remember,
no problem.
You're gonna look back at this and you're gonna what are these? What were those? Because it'll be a few years before they come back, and it's a SPAC and span. They're SPAC and span.
Wipe on, wipe off.
Yeah.
Wipe off.
We would never invest or say you should invest in SPAC, special purpose acquisition companies, which are these blank check companies that popped up for a while. They were supposed to have all these great ideas that they could just buy and they could go public without all the complexity. Number 3.
And what is this is a great lesson. What has happened to those?
They've died because
basically,
they did badly.
All it is really is it's a way to take a company public without the scrutiny that otherwise you have to do to take a company public.
It's a way to take a company public without having a company. It's kind of like crypto, which is currency without any value. It's companies without companies. How about Don's favorite?
Oh, my goodness. There goes the show.
Don has written so much and spoken so much about these products, and he hates them with a white-hot passion, primarily because they're such a big, fat lie, and that is equity-indexed annuities or indexed annuities. These are products sold by insurance companies
another name
that are misleading. And that is not a beauty pageant. They didn't win a beauty pageant and become misleading of 2023. They were misleading in 2022 and 2021, and no, we can keep going. And we have more. The list continues. It's such an exciting list. The things we would never invest in. Give us a call, 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Do me a favor. Grab your latest investment statements if you know where they are. How many do you have? A lot? How many different investments are in each statement? A bunch? Do you own individual stocks, bonds, sector funds, and stuff you don't understand? Yeah, I thought so. I'm Don McDonald, and I'm pretty sure you have a case of hodgepodgeitis. But don't worry, it's not terminal and can be cured. But it takes three things: a bit of time, some fiduciary guidance, and a plan. There's a problem, though. Most financial advisors can't or won't provide any of those. That's where we come in. Tom and I will provide you the help you need to overcome hodgepodgeitis in a free, no-obligation meeting with an Appella advisor at TalkingRealMoney.com. So, scan or take a picture of all those pages you gathered, then go to TalkingRealMoney.com, click on Meet an Advisor, and set up a free appointment online or by phone when it's convenient for you. Let us sort through the mess and help you get started on a better, simpler future plan. Just go to TalkingRealMoney.com or call 800-386-3004.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
The Despicable List. Welcome to the Despicable List program. What's the name of the? What was the what was the name of the cat? Sylvester. Sylvester. Yeah, Sylvester.
That's pretty good.
Sylvester and Tweety Bird. Despicable. So the things that are on our despicable list today, we went through crypto, we went through SPACs, which is just fun to say with a lisp, and equity indexed annuities. So
that's pretty good.
Why do I hate equity index annuities except for the lie? Well, the fact is they tell you you're going to get the returns of the market with none of the risk. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. In fact, the returns on equity index annuities have tended to be in the past in the 3 to 5% range. Just like a regular old annuity.
And they also tell you this should replace your bonds in your portfolio.
Yeah.
Is a contract with an insurance company the same as having an IOU from the U.S. government?
No, it's not.
I'm going to say not.
Not even close. Not even close. Yeah. So, but it is really, really good for the people who sell them because the commissions can range as high as, I've seen it, so 10? Don't tell me, 10%. And I have seen surrender charges that run for 20 years and start at 12%. So,
can you have your money back? Well, not in this lifetime. Maybe the next one. But
now, indexed annuities have an older cousin. This cousin has been wreaking havoc on investors for far longer than have indexed annuities. Tom, what's their name?
You're gonna invite VA over to the egg roll.
VA's coming to the egg roll.
VA's got coming. Yeah. Okay, all right. Variable annuities. Nice of them to drop by because we haven't seen them and you don't hear about it much.
Because equity indexed annuities are the cool kid. Variable annuities are kind of like us. They're old and decrepit. They're just not excited.
Headed for the you know what?
Or
hopefully
a young hot equity indexed annuity walks into the room. All eyes turn toward it.
Sorry.
But what's wrong with variable
annuity? Well, okay. Well, the aforementioned commissions, costs, lack of liquidity, etc. But in addition to that, you get the pleasure of paying all those expenses and then having underlying mutual funds in the variable annuity that are usually actively managed in high expense on top of all that.
I mean, again,
the worst of the absolute worst.
I've looked at some variable annuities that had total expenses for the funds and the insurance within of over 4% per year.
That's
over
crazy.
4.
Crazy. Yeah, no, that's not a product that you need to be in nor should be in, period. Really isn't.
What's next?
The list is lengthy.
Well, go ahead.
Relatively.
What, do you want me to do it for you?
Trust. No, I was stalling. Non-traded real estate investment trust.
We only have an hour.
Now we do believe in owning real estate investment trust in your portfolio.
Really diversified. Really, not like individual REITs.
You can get your money tomorrow.
With publicly traded REITs.
Right, correct.
Yes.
Non-traded REITs, you cannot. They're generally higher expense. You're right, they're generally narrower. The ones that we have thousands of REITs in the REIT fund. And the ones that are non-traded it's just, you don't know what you own until the end, is what I often see, nor what the return is until the end.
And the funny thing about non-traded REITs is They are loaded with disadvantages for the investor. And no advantage. I mean, and lots of advantages for the people who make them. Why would you want a non-traded over a traded REIT? You wouldn't. They have to make ridiculous promises to make them appear better. But the illiquidity is horrible. That's an awful thing. The expenses tend to be ridiculously high, and it's like, what's a good comparison? They're even worse than your house. You don't know minute to minute what your house is worth. Well, with a non-publicly traded REIT, you can't even look it up on Zillow to get a rough idea. You just don't know.
And you can't get your money. You can't. That's the non-traded part. I mean, everything that we own, I think, well, okay, we own ownership in a company we couldn't get tomorrow, but everything else, we could get our money and be gone to South America quickly. Or somewhere else, which is difficult on extradition. Maybe not South America anymore. I don't know what's harder ones.
Okay, we have to go back and tell you, because it's not obvious, you can't see his face, that Tom is joking. We cannot run off with your money.
Okay, speaking of that, really quick, as an aside, we had our first...
I have to do this like every other week.
One of our first client meetings in the new office yesterday, on what was then Good Friday. Mm-hmm. And I think we forgot to tell people that we'd moved upstairs to the new office. So they went to the old office and looked in the window, and there's no furniture, there's no nothing there.
Was there a sign?
There was a sign. I thought one of those deals. Oh, wait, whoa. Anyway, so your money's safe. We don't touch your money anyway. Your money's at Schwab.
Yeah,
so don't worry about that.
Up next on the list. Yeah. Up next on the list is wait. It's a shrubbery.
I want the two-level effect.
Shrubbery. No, it's not really a shrubbery. It's more of a hedge.
Yeah, well, because it's sexy, it's exciting, it's run by really smart people, and it's going to pay them 2% a year plus 20% of the profits. That would be hedge funds.
Isn't that a wonderful deal for... Wait, it's not...
And you can't get your money when you want it.
Wait, the clients don't get 2% every year and 20% of the profits? Oh.
No, that would be the guys running.
Right. So they get 2% per year no matter how badly you do. And the
performance. I mean, I think our friend Warren Buffett did 10 years. Well, no, he did the 10-year performance compared to the S&P 500 versus an aggregate of a bunch of hedge funds.
It was a hedge fund index.
Way outperformed it. Wasn't even close. So there's no expectation of greater return. There is expectation of lack of liquidity, higher expense, and it could blow up. There's been hedge funds that have gone because they put all their money in, et cetera, long-term capital management, for example.
And there have been some hedge funds that were crooked. Stephen Cohen.
Is he back managing other people's money now?
Yeah, I think
he took over the family office.
He was running the family office. I think he's trying to buy the Mets or something.
Didn't he buy the Mets? Okay.
Or maybe he bought the Mets. I don't know. Something about the Mets.
I think he did buy the Mets. Yeah. Okay. Or he owned them. Anyway, the hedge funds are, again, they're great design for the folks that run them. They're not so great. And that's true of a lot of these products for the people that are sold into them.
I have the numbers on the hedge fund versus the index fund.
Another reason to root against them.
Over the period of the bet, the S&P 500 returned 85% total. Hedge funds, 22%.
Yeah, as I said, it wasn't even close.
Not even close.
Mm-hmm. No, so...
Yeah, so we definitely had to put hedge funds on our list, even though they're becoming less popular and there are lots of publicly traded ones. But the list continues. The despicable list. Despicable Investments continues after this. 855-935-TALK. Call us.
Tom and Don are talking real money. For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yuck. Ooh, nasty, awful investments, things we hate. We're haters. We hate these investments. We wouldn't suggest them to our worst enemy. Oh, well, maybe our worst enemy. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I got a few names we could throw in there.
We like anybody. We can be a little vindictive. Yeah. And if I had a worst enemy, I probably would suggest that they buy put options on the market, or maybe a long-term futures contract short or something, because options and futures contracts are the kinds of things that we just think are silly. But why do we think they're silly? Why do we think they're stupid?
Well, because they're short-term in nature. They truly are bets.
Right.
Bets,
there you
right?
go.
I mean, you're making a bet. Something's got to happen so that and they're about time, they're about price. And I think, frankly, to most people, they're kind of confusing. You know, if you invest and you kind of understand how you're investing, you're going to do better than betting on things you don't understand and hoping it works out. So, no, I'm not a fan of options and futures. I know they have a place, and God bless those people for providing liquidity with all, the stuff they do. That's great. But they don't have a place in my portfolio.
No, and they're pure gambling. They're 100% speculating, even if you use them as hedges. They still have a speculative component to them, and they're very, very short term for the most part. You don't just hold a contract for decades like you would a stock or a mutual fund. Next up on the list, let me just give you some of the synonyms of the investment that is next on our list. See if you can guess what it is.
Oh, God.
Imitative.
Go ahead, man. Hit it.
Imitative. Uninventive. Unimaginative. Uninspired. Secondhand. Secondary. Trite. Hackneyed. Cliched. Stale. Tired. Worn out. Rehash. Warmed up. Also known as derivative. Derivatives. Derived from other things.
And you may remember
spinoff.
You may remember these. You may remember these from the crisis of 08-09, because they sort of something people knew about, but they really came up. And if you want to learn more about them, I still love that movie Margin Call, because you learn more about that stuff. It's just something you do not need in your portfolio. And all this is because, again, properly constructed portfolio stocks, bonds, don't need these things. I mean, that at the end of the day, you're the guy, Don, who said this is a process of exclusion as much as inclusion. Get rid of these things. Your life will be better. It's easier to understand. It'll be lower expense. All those things. There's no reason.
They serve no purpose
in the derivatives area.
They serve no purpose again, except to enrich the people who create them. Because what they're doing is they're taking an investment that makes sense, like a bond, and then using that as collateral for other products that they invent and sell based on that bond. That's what a derivative is. It's something derived from something else. Yeah. And there's no reason for the derivation. It's a stupid idea, and it's complicated, and it's confusing, and so it violates all the rules of financial physics. I mean, right there. Just violates them.
Needless to say. Yeah,
and
that's
so
easy
you really don't need stuff like this. It's a product that's sold. Next up, we have not heard about these in a while.
This hasn't been around. You don't hear it as much. No.
Occasionally you hear about it, but it got to the point where it was really just a scam. It was purely a scam. And that's the thing.
Can I say that it's an investment that's almost dead? It is
almost, it's pretty much close. Yeah, it's dead. I think it's died. It's not quite dead. I'm feeling much better.
And we're talking about viatical settlements, which I'm sure are still being sold out there. I'm sure that there's still somebody out there hawking them. They're in a hotel room in Phoenix somewhere listening right now to that pitch. I'm sure of it. But, and sorry to pick on you.
But let's talk about what it is, though. What is a viatical settlement?
Yeah.
It is buying.
This is
buying the life insurance.
Okay, go ahead.
Of a terminal person, or that was the idea. The problem was they started buying life insurance of people who were pretending to be terminal, and so if you buy it and they don't die, you don't get the money. So you want to avoid this.
Tom and Don are talking real money. Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Now, just because we're having more fun than we can stand going through the list of despicable products, things we would never invest in, nor would we suggest you ever invest in them, while we are having a wonderful time reading this list to you and sharing it with you, you are always invited to share your issues with us and let us help you, or give us the opportunity to help you deal with these things at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And we're doing this show over Easter weekend, so we know you're all out chasing eggs and bunnies and things.
Egg roll, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
egg roll at your favorite favorite Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, and I won the egg roll by default here because my grandsons didn't show up. So by default, I win. That's it. Sorry.
Oh, you mean rolling eggs? I thought we were talking about a crispy, crunchy shell around a nice mixture of.
With you, it's food. With me, it's
with me right now. It's definitely food because I'm hungry.
Let's just go back through the.
Wait, I want to give the number again.
Oh, please do. Yeah, just call us.
855-935-TALK, and as we say in talk radio, lines are open for your call.
Open lines all over.
It's Open Line Saturday.
It's toll free. That's the other one I hear all the time.
I know.
Like every call.
We used to say that all the time. Because back then, when you'd make a call to somewhere that wasn't in your area, the cost, it could cost you $1 or $2 a minute in some cases back in the olden days.
The only calls that aren't toll-free are when you're going to, like, the Middle East or something. All right, to start off the list again, cryptocurrency SPACs, equity index annuities. Mm-hmm. Their cousin, I think you called them, variable annuities. Mm-hmm. Non-traded real estate investment trusts, or better known as non-traded REITs. Uh-huh. Hedge funds, options and futures contracts, derivatives, viatical settlements, which we kind of touched on. We didn't really finish. Help me out, but I believe this is where insurance contracts are purchased from people that are closer to the end of their life in the beginning.
That was supposed to be the case, but what happened is they started running out, back when viaticals started falling apart, when they were such a hot item, they started running out of people who were dying or close to dying. So in order to keep selling viaticals, they had people fake illnesses.
Oh, I guess I do remember.
And they had doctors write up, fake diagnoses, and so that they could sell these things for big bucks. And then a bunch of people didn't get paid because, nobody died. So that,
that sounds like a bet in a lot of ways too.
People are crooked. It is a bet because, and I always argued against them. They said, well, no, these people have, it came up on my show all the time back in the day. And I kept saying, no, this is a bad idea. You're betting on somebody's death. Well, but they have terminal cancer. I said, and you've never heard of a new medicine curing a disease at the last minute. Oh, it was AIDS. They were doing a lot of AIDS patients back then. Yeah. And suddenly, suddenly people stopped dying from AIDS because they improved the treatment and medication. So
stop things at HIV. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so on to the list here, Mr. Master McDonald, Master Limited Partnerships.
You can tell right away it's not a good idea. You can tell right off the bat it's a bad idea because it's got too many words in it. It's just too much stuff. A master limited partnership. It's still it's a non-traded type of product.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not trade on a secondary market. It's the kind of deal where you put your money in. And there were limited partnerships, and then they became master limited MLPs. But the same thing. The people who sell them make out like bandits. The commissions on limited partnerships.
How much?
When I used to sell them back in the day before they were MLPs.
Wait a minute. You used to sell these things?
Yeah, they were called LPs, limited partnerships, like for example, public storage. You've seen a public storage. Public storage was started through limited partnerships. And we would get an 8.5% commission on these things when we sold them.
So that's why you're living lavishly the way you do today, going out for these fancy dinners, driving crazy cars.
No, that was back in 1984. 1984, which was, by the way, the last year for many years in which I actually made good money. The next year, I quit the business and went into radio, making $500 a month. Month.
And you're up to $650 now, so you're looking good. Master limited partnerships, illiquidity, as you say, kind of hard to know what you own and what the return may or may not be.
And they're just expensive, and they're just not good for you. The more confusing an investment is, just remember, the more confusing, the worse it is. 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. We'll put all this aside for your calls.
Tom and Don are talking real money. Your guides to a really great financial future.
Aren't
Tom
they
and Don
down?
are talking real money.
Hi, welcome back. Don here, Tom over there, you out there. We're all together. It's nice to have us all together, isn't it? Over a holiday weekend.
It's the holidays. Yeah.
We're, it's like we're like family. We're like the Talking Real Money family of people around the world. And we are around the world, by the way. We have people in Europe listening, people in Asia listening. We know that. We see them online.
Yeah.
855-935-TALK. Give us a call. We're still working on the list of things we don't like, but things we do like, your calls. Like this one from Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Was it Tom and John, or what was it? Tom and Joe?
That's good. I like that. I'm happy with that one.
I'll just be
perfect.
Don the whole time. That's all I'm going to be. I don't know what he is.
You're John now.
Okay.
You're John. No, you're John now. I like John.
Well, you guys talk. You talk more than about money, because I thought when I first heard you, I turned it on Como, and I first heard you. It sounded like you'd call and talk about anything you wanted to ask you a question.
Sure, why not?
Sure. It's a holiday weekend. We
it's
take
supposed
it.
to be financial.
Okay.
No. I wanted you to understand why Ricky's Law and Joe's Law isn't being used in the people that are drug-induced and health mentally ill. Why aren't they being civilly committed?
Because we don't have enough money. I'm trying to make it money. I'm trying to make it money oriented. Because
Exactly. So where we don't have, they don't want those kind of people. They want the people that have insurance.
Well, that's true. That's true. Thank you so much for caring about people and being there and
it's nice
talking to us on this holiday weekend. I'm sorry. Tom left the room. He's gone. He just couldn't take it any longer.
No, I'm back. I feel good. Okay. Yeah.
She's
All right. So
basically, she's in the holiday spirits.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
spirits.
That time of year, I guess. Sure. Okay. Shall we return to the
now? If we were doing general talk, I would do that. I would do that.
Yeah,
topic.
absolutely.
If it was general talk, I would do that topic.
It's an interesting topic.
I've done that topic because I used to do general talk.
Yeah, and you were very good at it.
Not major talk, though, just general talk. I mean, I used to be major talk, and then I got promoted.
General?
Then I got promoted. All right, continuing the list of despicable investments, things we would never invest in, nor should you. This one is really interesting because it comes up every once in a while in weird years as the hottest investment of the year this year. The best investment was art and collectibles. Art and collectibles.
It takes in so much. It could be wine, right? It could be cars.
Antique maps.
I
still have some if anybody wants some.
Give them the number.
I have like thousands of them if you want to buy them cheap.
Oh, good Lord. I can't believe you still have those things. So these are, and this seems like the purview of the, rich, right? Because stocks and bonds, if you're rich, are not enough.
Right.
You need to be in hedge funds. You got to be special. You got to own art that's going to make you a lot of money. You got to own fancy cars going to make you a lot of money. I don't think for most of us this is something you need.
For most of us, I wouldn't even know how to buy it. I mean, really, how do you know which collectible?
Places.
No, but how do you know which collectible is going to be the collectible that will be worth more in the future? I mean, when I started in the antique map business, prices were really high, and they've plunged since then until, so like you buy a piece of art and you go, okay, I like that. And the market goes, well, you have really bad taste, so it's not worth anything.
Well, I've got a piece of that in the garage that my folks bought 1965 by a well-known painter in the Bay Area. And every so often I type it in to look to see, is this worth anything today? No, it's never worth anything.
That's why it's still in the garage.
It's still in the garage. And my wife won't let me bring it into the
It's that ugly, huh?
I like it, but, art is a very personal experience. Don.
Right.
So
And that's the thing is, the only art that becomes more valuable is the art that rich people talk about among themselves. And, I don't even understand how this works. So we can skip those. How about gold and precious metals, though?
Oh, please. This is an entire program.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's had a good year this year. I forgot to look it up.
Well, that's because of inflation. No, GLD's had a good year this year. But that's because of inflation. It does react somewhat to high inflation. But other than that, gold has never been an investment that's made any more than the rate of inflation.
Podcast.
And what's similar? It's twin. It's fraternal twin. They're not identical twins. Commodities. They behave in much the same way. If there's an inflationary environment, they do pretty well. Otherwise,
but over the long haul.
And they're hard to
has
own.
made about inflation, right?
Yeah, it's made about inflation.
Over the long haul, yeah.
But switching really quickly to commodities, commodities are hard. Think about gold is hard enough to own, but at least you can get them in little chunks. But commodities, I mean, literally, you can't own commodities. Like, remember the days
when you could
buy a tanker of oil,
yeah,
for nothing.
Nothing.
Well, no, they would pay you to take the tanker of oil,
which is kind of expensive.
And remember, we were trying to figure out a way to run a railroad siding into your backyard.
Put it right
to
there.
Run a couple of trains in there.
Wait for the prices.
Yeah, and it went up. It would have been a good deal. But it's orange juice. Is Florida going to have a freeze? Wait. None of it comes from Florida anymore.
I don't know where they grow oranges. It's not Southern California. It's not Oregon.
Not.
Oregon,
it's Brazil.
Yeah, shocker here.
And as a matter of fact, there's a brand called Florida's Natural orange juice. It's now partially Brazilian orange juice.
Yeah.
So commodities.
So, but these are speculative things in a general sense. You're making a bet, and it usually is a short-term bet. You're making a bet on what the price will do during that short term. And it has not, again, I'm always looking for things that will produce for me. Can I say that with the oranges? Produce for me in the long haul, right? Yeah.
All right. We have 1 minute to get through the rest of these.
I thought we were going to go into next
No, because we don't have enough of them. Initial public offerings.
Okay.
You can't, they're just too dangerous. Actively managed mutual funds.
Oh, I was going to give you
Well, no, go ahead. Why don't we like those?
Those because they have someone picking stocks, timing markets, figuring out what the future will be, and they don't know.
And again, they're fraternal twin, actively managed exchange traded funds.
Yeah. And then Reg D offerings, which are in the Wall Street Journal today again.
Oh,
because
great article.
There's always misdeeds. Yeah, misdeeds about this stuff.
Reg D are the highly qualified investor kind of things where there's no registration. It's they're as a matter of fact, there's
Wild West.
Jason Zweig's article in the Wall Street Journal is excellent on these Reg D offerings because he covers a bunch of Reg D offerings that have been offered, claiming they're worth billions of dollars by a guy who has served time in both prisons in Mississippi and the great state of Florida for fraud. And he's out there doing these Reg Ds. That's how dangerous they are. Any idiot who can find a notary can start a Reg D offering and make lots of money off of unsuspecting gullible. I hate to even call them investors. I want to call them idiots.
They're not investors.
They're not investors. They're people who want to get rich. And finally, Tom,
can I add this one? Really, we have to say this as an investment, but apparently we do.
Yeah.
Those would be lottery tickets. Those are not an investment. Please.
Oh, wait, I forgot about trips to Vegas. No. You can make money on a trip to Vegas. You can get comp-free food and free drinks and even a room if you waste enough money there. 855-935-TALK. Call us.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future, so past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?